There I am. Okay. So, after about 20 minutes of sitting here talking to myself, I'm now, in a moment, will talk to myself. My phone will start popping up with a live feed. Um, I'm back. We'll see how long I'm back for and how long you folks care that I am back. But we're back doing a live commentary while fighting these spasms. They're not quite gone yet. There, there we go. And forgive me, it is about 13 minutes away from the start of the presentation. He always starts late, so but that's not what we're shooting for. I said this thing when we'll go live at 5 till. I'm gonna probably leave in a moment to grab a snack so I can have a snack while we're doing this. Even though there's only 20 minutes allotted for this on the Fox News station where I saw it. Now the breaking news, if you want to call it breaking news, the breaking news is not that he's going to talk about election fraud and Chinese interference. The breaking news is actually that it's not going to be on most of the normal broadcast networks. They mostly decline to take this. They don't have to take this. It's not an actual national emergency, and so there's no reason to stop the world for this unless they want to. ABC, NBC. An article says, doesn't say CBS, but I'm looking at the schedule for 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and at 8:01, there's a delay on Press Your Luck and everything else starts at 8 o'clock. CNN's not going to cover it. MS Now doesn't seem to be covering it, and Fox hasn't changed their actual lineup. It still says Hannity. So says News Nation, but I have News Nation and CNN to my left for my viewing pleasure. News Nation already flashed it. They're going to take it, and no one else has. Or CNN hasn't said anything about it because they aren't going to take it. They did say earlier today they are going to take a Maine senatorial debate next Thursday with whoever is running for senator, whoever knows what that is. So that's what we have. We are 12 minutes or so away from opening of the broadcast. I'm going to step away for just a moment since this thing is live. I know it's working. I'll be back in about 5-6 minutes, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, ready with some snarky comments, and to put my full Trump deranged syndrome on display. So if you are one of the people that are logged in streaming me live, thank you so much. Shout out in the chat so that I know you're not a bot. And if you're a bot, keep on botting, guys. Keep on botting. Let me know where you are. Feel free to drop some comment in the chat so I can we can chat back and forth. I'm going to talk, and you're going to hold your phone in your lap. While you're holding your phone in your lap, you'll have your TV on, or whatever large source of information you have. That way, you can I don't have to break any copyright laws. Plus, it's gonna be a hard time finding it. So it's like that. So let me get up there, get myself prepped for this one. I've got 11 minutes to go, and maybe the spasms will ease up. So what did I miss? I don't think I actually missed anything. So if you've been sitting here, which is only 2 people here, so thank you, bots, for sticking around. What we have is, in about 2 minutes or so, Trump's supposed to be going live, or we'll go live to the White House, and Trump's going to give an Oval Office presentation on election fraud. That's what we're expecting to see. Most of the networks aren't carrying it. That is the cable networks and the major networks. They decided not to do that. CNN is right now having a panel talking about what they're going to talk about. Obviously, they're not going to go to it. They announced that pretty heavily. So we're in a waiting pattern right now. If you are somehow tuned into this and actually paying attention, please make sure you have your main screen on so you can watch whatever it is on whoever you want to. There will be a slight delay, of course, because the internet works that way. And I am your secondary screen. I'm your backup screen. I am the screen that goes along with what's going on here. So, and to make this happen, in order so I can hear, so it's going to be kind of weird. You know what? I think we're going to have to put something up anyway, because otherwise I can't hear anything. Because I'm watching me. Well, let's see what we can do. Let's do this. Oh, that's going to work. So we're going to go... I'm going to watch News Nation. Because... and they say it's 8 o'clock already, so... Mo, join live.
All right, let's get Leland Vitter up here. He's going to take over our coverage here after the speech is on his watch. It's good to see you, brother. What do you make of this kind of split reporting?
Yeah, we're going to do this.
This is all about the election versus, well, no, we're going to talk about Iran. This is really just setting the table with the American people with some points of emphasis. What do you think? Points of emphasis. What do you think?
Never before, Chris, covering 4 White Houses. You go back a little bit farther than me at 9 o'clock Eastern as we welcome our viewers from the CW network here on News Nation's coverage of President Trump's address to the nation. Never before has there been as much anticipation of a presidential address with less information about what it will be about. Nor have we ever seen a White House that I've covered set expectations so high. Caroline Leavitt saying the information we are about to hear tonight will, quote, shock you. High bar.
It is a high bar, and also uncharacteristically for this administration, not a lot of great leaks. You know, usually you have a pretty good idea of what he's saying before it happens. Not this time. But again, the big issue is it going to be single focus, or is this going to be somewhat of picking his spots to try to connect with the American people?
And we will find out together. Chris, great show. We await President Trump. He asked on Monday for airtime from the networks. That's part of this story. There are a number of broadcast networks not carrying the president's speech that will be delivered from the East Room. President Trump, he asked on Monday for air. Democrats cared an awful lot about foreign election interference. We will see if they do once the president is done speaking. Now the president of the United States.
See what that does. Here we go.
Good evening. Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before. Okay. We are doing great. Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person.
Okay.
We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities.
Not really.
And the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before.
Trump
We
is the
have more
master
money
marketer.
being invested in the
but
United
one would
States than
think at
at
some
any
point in time
time
you just kind
in the
of
history of our
let
country.
the
More Americans are
product
working
speak for
today
itself.
than ever before. This week it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years.
So this
Just
is how
happened.
great he
It was
is,
just
because he did it.
given out. The
CNN
media
has
reported it.
Caitlin
and
Collins
we accept it.
in a box
The
like
best
me
in 6
next to a
years.
box
The
that's
tax
just the White
cuts
House.
in our great,
While
big,
watching News
beautiful
Nation, who
bill
also
are saving
simulcasts to the
hardworking
CW
families thousands
with
and
this thing here.
thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job-creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy, because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care.
No,
You have to
Obamacare
go to
wasn't actually called
TrumpRx.gov
Obamacare.
and take advantage of it.
It's called,
But
the
the
Affordable
cost
Care
of
Act,
health
but they
care
sort
is
of
coming way down
snared it as
because of what
Obamacare.
we've done with prescription drugs.
there
And
you
with
go.
Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account to save for their future. Billions and billions
CBS
of dollars are being invested,
went to
put in
Tony
by
DeCappo,
companies and individuals
and they have
to
a
take
guy
care of our
sitting
children
outside
so
of the
that
White House
at age 18
talking
they will
about
have
what's
potentially
happening, or what he thinks is
hundreds
happening,
of
'cause the audience is gonna be
thousands of
watching it.
dollars in their account, and they'll get off to
they're
a
not
great
covering the
start
president directly.
in life. So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov
TrumpAccounts.gov.
and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously
You can't sign
wide
up
open
any child
borders
who's not your
have been
child. That's
transformed
stupid.
into the most
MS
secure
Now is
borders
covering the actual
in the history of our country, with zero
event.
illegal
So is
aliens being
Hannity.
admitted to the United States
Fox News.
in the past 14 months. That is zero. Nobody thought it was possible.
ABC
We had the
primetime
worst border
stream has
in the history of our
coverage, but
country,
not
and now we have the
ABC,
best.
network.
Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest
The network is
level
playing
since
pressure lock.
1900, or more than 125 years ago.
Wait, less
We're
crime
making
since
a record
1900?
investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness.
But we can't trust.
For many years, I've called
this
for
guy.
bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system.
Here we go.
And that is to make that system secure. One where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight,
doesn't.
I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people.
It's been hidden from you.
But that all
This is what
changes
it
right
is.
now.
I
The
finally found it.
documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people,
Are they the people
along
working for
with the
Epstein's
staff
files?
of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board,
These aren't the Epstein
supported
files?
by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go
Not Trump.
check it out.
Not Trump.
Our
White
purpose
House.gov.
in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of
5
years,
areas.
starting during the 2020 election cycle,
Okay.
the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote
We've got
and
350
engage
or
in
so
other
million people in
nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening.
220
This
million is
data
most of us.
loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project.
342.6
Compounding
million
the
is the
travesty,
number
the second set of
from the
documents we
census
are releasing reveals
of
that
Americans.
members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data
CBS actually went to
in
it. Went to
18
it
states
late.
have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress.
He's
In
going to blow
fact,
his 20 minutes.
all they kept saying is, this
And he
is the
started
most secure
almost the
election
same
in the
time.
history of our country.
There
A
he goes.
standard, very pat
Mocking-
line that was
mocking tone.
divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in
2024,
other
we had
election-related activities to undermine
173,085
my
registered
first
voters.
administration and our 2020 campaign.
So two.
They did not want, and they just
220
didn't
million
want it. They fought like
files,
hell not to
records
have
is
it. Donald
more
Trump
than
to
the number
win,
of people we had
and
registered
for good reason.
in 2024.
As the documents
that's
we
the
are
date he's
releasing
working on
show,
specifically.
CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election.
What the
Isn't
hell?
that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections
I also thought
and
we
later
were-
the results
we
of the
loved China.
2020
China
presidential
was one of our
election
boys.
itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job. And they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America.
What is going on?
The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bag.
Good Lord.
But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people.
And why would they hold it for so long?
Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised.
The machines are bad.
People within our government knew that. Tonight we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country.
Oh, God.
The document goes on to further state that,
this was a
quote,
terrible idea,
we assess that centralized
this
election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America.
The spin's going to be...
Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from
You're gonna be
January
so
2020 to
fast that
June
you could probably use it
2026.
to cool down
This
your
is
house
a
in
cyber
Arizona
threat
right now.
aimed
It could
at
probably
the very
put out
heart
the
of our
wildfires up in the
democracy.
Midwest.
Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change
It isn't.
election results on
is not.
these terrible machines.
It's not.
Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in
big
favor
number.
of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been
It
detected,
looks like MS
it has
Now
been
dropped out of it
buried and covered up.
and just went
Among
back to
the
Shinseki
disclosures
and
tonight are FBI
couple
files
guests.
detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a
CNN never went
large-scale
to it.
voter registration operation in
CW.
Michigan.
RCW
In
doesn't seem to
2020,
have it. I've
Michigan
seen
State
Scrapple
Police
play it.
raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization,
Fox
corrupt
is
group
playing it along
in
with Fox News.
Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they
we're gonna
found.
do a
They were just so
refresh on this
concerned. They
other
couldn't
one
believe it, actually,
and try to
that they
make sure the sound
contacted the
doesn't overtake it.
FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not
Nope,
exist, and received gift
ABC
cards
actually went
tied
to
to their number of applications that they produced. In other
CBS
words,
went to it.
it was pay,
NBC
play, and cheat.
did not.
The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files,
Here we go.
the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet,
How do
even
you
this
know this?
limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote.
How do you know the numbers, Larry?
Put
if you
together,
get the
these
data?
disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible.
It is not broken.
Hundreds of
It is not
millions
vulnerable.
of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has
Now
been
we're seeing
buried.
it.
Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people
No dead
are
people.
listed and active on the voter rolls, and yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, long time ago,
Here we go.
but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month.
Nobody's happy about
Took
that.
a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing.
They count really
This
slow
is
in
worse
California.
than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about.
They're actually covering
because
it.
of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they
Well,
know
NBC's not.
how
ABC
corrupt
took
our
it.
system is, and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections.
The problem
Fraud
with
like this should mean a
is Trump is
revocation
actually
of their
great for ratings
licenses.
for the
They
liberal
use our
side.
public multi-billion-dollar in value
If we
airways
weren't
for
such a
absolutely
mean,
no
mean
money.
liar
They
type
pay
guy
nothing.
that was, suing everybody.
All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting.
And
They
stop
pay
talking.
nothing for multi-billion-dollar
Honestly, would
assets.
be great if you would
Great
stop
damage
talking.
has been done to our country.
No, it hasn't.
Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people
I'm
was
sorry. I'm
lost.
supposed to be saying something
This cannot
constructive.
be allowed to continue.
Something
Every American, whether you're a
That is giving
Republican,
you some insight to
Democrat,
this.
independent,
But everything
or
he said
otherwise,
in
should be able to
the
agree that
20
we
or
deserve
so odd
the
minutes
most
we've been on this
secure,
thing is
honest, and fair
stupid
election
and
system
BS
anywhere in
and
the world.
ridiculous.
Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause.
Where
we
is
should be
J.D.
united,
Vance?
not divided.
Where
In light of
is
the brand new and
Mike Johnson?
irrefutable information
We
I
think
have
we know where
revealed
Mitch
tonight,
McConnell is.
my administration is in the process of
But it's
notifying
John Thune, I guess, is
the
in charge
states
of the
whose
Senate.
election data was compromised by
Justice
the
Roberts?
People's Republic of China and many
As
others.
insane as
We will
25th
be
Amendment
working
talk is,
closely to mitigate
it
any
might be
harm,
time.
and we're taking
Even if
swift
that means
action
we're
to
down
ensure
to
that
President
sensitive voter data is better protected, so
Jerk.
we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the
We didn't have
Secretary of
stolen election in the
Homeland
first place.
Security will hold a briefing
Okay.
to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems.
So
They
this
are
is the part
bad.
where I ask you.
We're in the process of
support
informing
my
governors,
stuff
senators, and
here.
members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately.
Which is what they do
But
anyway.
most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands
no
that
crisis.
Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat? The only reason
Unless
you
you wanna
wouldn't do
cheat.
it is you want to cheat
This
because your
is
policies are so
Reagan-esque.
bad
This is like a
and your
great
candidates are so pathetic
Nixon speech.
that you can't get away or can't get
Ask
elected
not what you do
any
for your
other
country.
way.
That's basically what
This
they put this in
landmark
there. This
bill
is
requires that all voters must show
This is some BS.
photo, voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo, voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Are you a citizen of our country, please? And hopefully
I
there
really
will
don't
be
have a
no
problem with voter
corrupt
IDs.
mail-in ballots, which if you watched
if your
California and
voter
so
ID
many
is
other
there and you
places,
prove who you are,
mail-in ballots
and
are
you register,
inherently
one, you register
corrupt.
to vote, and this is who you are.
So you would
To
have
register, you'd have
no
to be a
mail-in
citizen.
ballots
So
except
that's
for
a null and void thing there. as well.
illness, disability,
You just
military
need people to
deployment,
show up
or
when elections
travel
there
if
and
you're
just
going
vote.
away on
There's no way
business
to
or
clout,
vacation.
this votes for this person.
These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned.
These vulnerabilities
To
don't
all
exist.
Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate,
And ask them
and
why is this fool
demand
on my
that they
TV.
pass the Save America Act without delay.
There's a scroll at the
Together
bottom.
we will restore faith
buy me a
and
coffee.
confidence
I
in our
think he's
country.
wrapping up.
And we will be bigger, better, and stronger
You
than
want to help me
ever
do
before.
my independent
Tthank you.
stuff.
God bless
Here
you.
we go.
God bless our great military. and God bless America. Thank you very much.
President Trump addressing the nation for about 26 minutes, primarily on the issue of election integrity. Said that he has just declassified CIA and FBI documents showing a massive hack by China in 2020 of some 220 million voter registration files, saying that there are now known vulnerabilities that the FBI and CIA covered up in many of our election machines, saying that the Department of Homeland Security had uncovered 278,000 non-citizens, meaning illegal aliens or green card holders, registered to vote in federal elections. Also alleging that the FBI and the CIA conspired to keep this information from him even when he was president in 2020, saying that all of these documents that they have declassified will be available on the White House website that actually got so much traffic it crashed. So we're still trying to wait to access these newly declassified documents. Editor-in-chief of Two-Way, Mark Halperin, is with us. Two-Way co-host of the morning meeting, Larry O'Connor and Kevin Walling, with us.
We're going to kill that right now. We're going to get rid of that extra screen and go back to me. Now to you, now to me, now to you, now to me. If anybody wants to comment for this, we'll stick around for a few minutes to get some out there. I took a couple notes while I was basically screaming at the TV and eating chips. So it is what it is. Like I was saying before, if you want to support the movement that is the Conversation Project, that is More Better Media, that is Fast Forward Business Properties in its sense, or just you think, you know, I look tired and probably could use a couple bucks, and I could use a couple bucks, trust me. The bottom you see scrolling is a link to buymeacoffee.com/JClevelandPayne. I'll even put that in the chat right now, just because you might want to click it. This is a way for you to throw a little couple bucks into the kitty for me. Send your love via there we go. So I don't know if the link went live. Maybe. I can't tell in my chat. So, but I can do that. Yeah, send your love via buymeacoffee.com/JClevelandPayne. Okay. So, what do we have? What have we done? We have wasted 26 minutes of our lives. We're going to waste another 5 to 10 talking about the 26 minutes of our lives we wasted because the message was ridiculous. It was a whole lot of nothing. It was the greatest hits of how great I am, being 47, 45, and just sort of the things that I've done because I'm such a great person, being 47, 45. But the point of it, when he got around to that, was essentially the elections are rigged. They're all rigged. They have been rigged for a while. I've got proof. Tomorrow, maybe tonight we'll see it, but tomorrow it'll be all the news about the documentation from China doing what they can to rig elections. There's talk about burn bags that had evidence of basically extra ballots to put in for Biden, just, to make things extra, because apparently numbers don't work. If you've got so many registered voters and you start counting votes and they start going for someone you don't like, you just dump in extra votes, extra numbers until it gets a bigger number for the other person, yet your number doesn't match the number of people who should have voted. No one would catch that. That would not be the most obvious thing in the world if you have 100 people that could vote and 70 voted for a particular candidate, and somehow the winner of the election was the other candidate, but you ended up with 200 votes that were counted, that no one would notice that. No one would figure that part out. The names attached would not make a difference. If only so many people are actually cleared to vote, and we know that of that number, it's not a big number that actually show up. If more people show up, then you don't have a problem, because you kind of do. So there's that. There's the he didn't say the bamboo thing, but there's the whole bamboo conspiracy because China was involved. That's got to be something as well. He also dropped in some Russia and other countries. He dropped in Russia like 1 or 2 times in kind of slight ways, but other countries were in there. The main country he fought to fight, I guess, in this is China. which is great because China is trying to manipulate our elections. So is Russia. But China has been one of those nations that, in most cases, Trump's, likes the way they do things in China. Make yourself president for life, run your state the way you want to, things like that. All right, we got burn bags. Burn bags are a part of the extra ballots that they're ready to burn to get rid of the evidence, although they, waited 6 years and just held on to the bags for whatever reason. I guess they're just going to reuse the bags, reuse the ballots because it's not worth redoing them each time. So there's that. There's the voting machines that can be easily hacked and easily changed electronically for the numbers, which cannot be. In fact, it's not the voting machines they count. It's literally the voting machine is a printout that says this is what you should have. And then they print all those big sheets of paper that you run through the thing to give you your actual count for your votes. That's kind of how it works. Because that's how it works. That's why it works every time I go vote. That's what is there. That's how it works. So, I don't think I picked up on mail-in ballots as an issue, but mail-in ballots has been an issue for whatever reason. Right now, I'm looking over my shoulder and seeing that Fox News is breaking news about more strikes in Iran because it's actual news, and News Nation still has a panel that's talking about voting. Looks like Mark Halpern is the one person I can recognize from the Foursquare, and Lear Vittert as well. But there's running a B-roll of Trump in China because Trump accused China of breaking our elections, things like that. It is what it is. So, for whatever reason, I decided tonight. Well, the reason was this speech, but I decided tonight to come out of hiding and come back to the channel for another live feed, and we'll see how well it's going to be. Not the greatest numbers in the world, but we've got some people who are watching it on YouTube. Some folks who are watching it on X. For whatever reason, Facebook was just not playing well tonight, so no Facebook responses. Facebook has been that way for quite some time, so they haven't got a lot of the stuff we've done. But we're in trouble, folks. We are in trouble. We are. I don't really know how to say it. I don't really know how we're going to get out of this. There's a sort of just thought process where and this is long before I even really thought about it, long before I was really into politics, although I was into politics when I was like 6, so because I'm that nerd. But this is something that has been more of a just one of those things that sit in your craw, I guess, if you had to call it something. But essentially, everything's an overcorrection. Despite what you think about a party being in charge of everything, Republican or Democrat, left or right, the main parties, it's who doesn't actually align necessarily with the party that runs the show. They vote for which one they want to get to. And so things correct and overcorrect back and forth. If one leader happens to be a certain way, they vote for someone who's a little bit different. And that little bit different sometimes is a lot different in what you get from the next coming of the actor. It is what it is. That's how these things work. Now, with that being said, Donald Trump was a serious overcorrection from Barack Obama, which in most cases, people are like, what the hell is going on? In actuality, Donald Trump was a way to negate and not vote for the first time Hillary Clinton, because everyone hates Hillary, and the second time for Kamala Harris, because people don't really like her as well. And that's just sort of a political sort of reality that the big time folks on TV don't say, because they still have to collect checks from the TV stations that have to be around. So they can't say the whole truth in a case like that, although it should be pretty obvious that there's not much love lost for the Clintons in general in the political sense of being in charge of stuff, and Hillary Clinton in particular, because no one seems to like her at all. It just seems to be the way things go. So we got vote because we didn't like Hillary. Fine. And so there's that. And we got Trump. We got Trump because we don't really like Kamala. Well, that's fine. We got Biden because Claiborne told us to vote for him. If you don't understand that one, we can go through that one on a sideshow. And if you go to the You're Welcome channel, where I'm posting daily just random just chats and stuff, there's the original video I did way back to start that channel, where essentially, and this is something that many other people have said, so you can't say I'm off my whacker, it's Barack Obama telling some bad jokes at a correspondence dinner that Donald Trump didn't like, that basically spawned the hatred that he has for fill in the blank, especially for Barack Obama, because he was poking at him well before he got into politics, and brought us to where we are right here. It should not have done that. It should have made much more sense to watch it and see that what was coming. But as I've seen very, very often, we tend to vote, we tend to act, we tend to do things that are beyond our best interest because humans, if you will. All right. So we're going to put a wrap on this at this point right here. We're just going to just kind of give it up at this point because there's nothing to say. Thank you for all the folks who have tuned in to watch this. If you have some commentary on the back end, please feel free to pop it in there. Send me an email at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com or the conversation inbox at gmail.com, because that's where the conversation mail should actually go. Thank you for showing up and giving me a couple minutes of this rambly thing, especially now that it's over. I'm going to wait and see if there's going to be some news reports on this major document with all this information that's supposed to be released. We'll see how that works out. And then otherwise, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to let this thing marinate. I'm going to wake up early tomorrow morning and go through the documentations and see what's there, to see what to talk about. Because it may take till morning to get some of the actual talking heads on to give their word on this one. They may have to wait to Scott Jennings is done talking to Mitch McConnell tonight to get him on the air to talk about this thing. I believe Abby Phillips' show is going to be quite one hell of a match tonight. It's just going to be. I may stay up to see who's on the panel tonight and give that 10 minutes before I go for that one. But I can't listen to the commentary until I get off the yakety yak with you. So not quite back, but here we'll take that. If you enjoy this, I'm very happy to get through this at this point without the hiccups and spasms. They're still sort of there, but it's not there. But you enjoy this, let me know. Thank you for the folks who are watching on YouTube, because that's where I know the live folks are. If you're on Twitter, bot or not, love you so much. You help the numbers grow. And if you want to help a brother out, go to buymeacoffee.com/jclevelandpayne. It's buymeacoffee.com/jclevelandpayne. And that's where you can send your love in the form of coffee or money for coffee, which will go to paying some of the bills around here, because we got bills to pay. We got plenty of bills to pay. My daughter turned 14 very recently, and trust me, she's already talking car. So yeah, we got bills to pay going forward for this household right here. And she's a fashionista, so lots of clothes, a lot of shopping. Yeah, I need some help. In the meantime, love y'all, mean it. Keep up the fight. And I seriously mean it, whether you are someone who supports Donald Trump or would rather see him go away. The conversation needs to be had on what's best for all of us, what we believe is best for all of us, because there's always somewhere in a gray area that's not exactly what we think, because other people have their own sense of what needs to be done. It's that simple. So have more conversations. Be willing to talk. Do real hard work to listen. Bite your tongue. Hold yourself back. Let them say what they have to say, and then speak back to them in a cordial manner. Because if we can't have these conversations, we're going to have more of these stupid addresses to the nation that don't make any sense. Because the person who won the thing is complaining about the fact that he didn't win a thing, and he wants to punish everyone involved and fix it so that he can control everything, when he technically, by law, can't win the thing again. But maybe if you tweak it just enough, he can be president for life. I mean, Putin made it work for him. It wasn't always set that way. And China, Xi made it work for him. It wasn't always set that way. Works that way for Erdogan, essentially. Why not Donald Trump, the 80-year-old crazy man who's like waving fist at clouds at this point? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I didn't vote for the guy. Neither side gave me a great person to vote for. The candidate I voted for wasn't in love with either, but that's beside the point. Didn't win. So we got. I mean, so you have to pray for the one you got to do the best they can. And they're doing the best they can for himself and themselves, which is not doing any good for any of us. So your opinions are warranted. Your comments are great. Everything's popping up in chat right now. So there's some comments. I can't see them because it'd be in live chat. But give me some more information, give me more insight. Let me know how we're doing. And if you have a chance to stop by, look for me on the You're Welcome channel. It should be at You're Welcome. And look at those things. I'm going to keep doing those for at least another 10 days. Today was day 20. At least get in 30 days of that to see how it goes before, I decide to give that up again. But let me know how it's working. Let me know how it's going. This is interesting. This is sort of crazy. This is really crazy. What we're going through right now. And anyone who doesn't see what I'm seeing, I don't understand what they're looking at, what they're watching. It doesn't seem to make any sense. It doesn't seem to make any sense. And you're watching it. It's like it's a lot like my grandmother. Although it was a fight, but when her eyesight got so bad, and she's a fairly youngish woman, because she had my mother young and my mother had me young, so she's a fairly youngish woman. But when they decided, being my aunts and my uncle decided, we're taking her keys away, and we're going to take the responsibility of driving her around. We're going to tell her exactly what is up. So you're going to stay a couple months with me, a couple months with here, a couple months there. And when it's time to go to appointments, they take her back home, and she stays there for a couple months, does all her appointments. Then she goes to all over the place because her kids and older grandkids like me are all over the place. She has the best life in the world, except no one will let her drive. And trust me, we hear it a lot, but no one lets her drive because her eyesight's not good enough to drive. It's been proven. She knows better, but that's beside the point. It's a bit of freedom that, she lost because she's always been independent. And now we don't let her do that. Someone should not let this man do what he's doing just because he's the leader of the free world. We should not have given him, like I'm an actual member of the media, we should not have given him any time on TV to talk this stuff up. We should not have listened to what's going on. We should not take this seriously. We should not have voted for this guy last time, or voted for him the time before, or voted for him the first time when he got in the first time. Because this is it's all crazy. That's it. Plug me one more time. buymeacoffee.com/JClevelandPayne. Share the love. Fight the fight. Keep on keeping on. Most importantly, I love all of y'all. And the last thing, remember, today is a great day to have a day. Whether it's a great day or not so great day. Because the alternative, not having that day, will suck for all of us. We need you around. So have your day. If it's not a great day, figure out how to get through it and try for a better day tomorrow. There's always a chance for a better day tomorrow. Good night. We'll see how this thing plays out.